Hello everyone and welcome back. In today's tutorial we're diving into Pareto Security. This is a handy Mac app that helps keep your computer safe with minimal effort. It checks and applies important security practices to keep your Mac secure. No matter if you're new to Macs or a seasoned user, Pareto Security simplifies your security. Now, before we dive into today's video, if you find this video helpful, make sure to watch till the end. I'll share a little bit more about myself and how you can help support my efforts in bringing you these tutorials. All right, let's take a look at Pareto Security. The first thing we're going to be taking a look at is, what is Pareto Security? Well, basically, it's a Mac application that regularly audits and reinforces your security settings to ensure your system remains robustly protected. Basically, it gets its name from the Pareto Principle. The Pareto Principle is a concept that specifies that 80% of the consequences come from 20% of the causes. So if we can reduce that 20% of the causes, we're going to have far less consequences. And that's what Pareto Security does. It follows this 80-20 kind of rule. All right, so what isn't Pareto Security? Well, Pareto Security is not an antivirus or a malware detection software or app. You use this in partnership with those other apps if you want. All this does is this just audits your Mac's security settings to make sure that you're using them fully or have them all implemented, the ones that you want to have on. So it is not an antivirus. It is not a malware detection type program. It just audits your Mac to make sure that all of your security settings are set properly on your Mac. All right, so now that we know what Pareto Security is and what it is not, let's take a look at where we can get Pareto Security. Basically, we can get it from two different places. So we can get it from the website itself, paretosecurity.com. You can download it through there. At this time, I believe it's about $17. Or you can get it through SetApp. This is where I found it, through SetApp. You cannot get it through the App Store. It is not available in the Mac App Store. So if you look for it in the Mac App Store, you will not find it. You have to get it from one of these two places. Now, I want to say before we get started here, I am not affiliated with the developer at all. I'm just a fan of the app. It works well. I found it through SetApp, and I thought that I may want to share this or show people how this can help you keep your Mac secure. So I'm not affiliated with the developer at all. All right, with all of that out of the way, let's go and take a look at Pareto Security. The first thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to be installing it, and then we're going to set it up. It's pretty simple to do, but there are a couple different steps. So let's go over to my Mac, and we're going to take a look at how we can set this up. Now, I'm going to install this through SetApp. If you download it, basically what it'll do is it'll download it into your applications folder. Well, being that I'm going to be using SetApp, it does install it into a separate folder. But basically, it works the same way. It's the same app, if you get it through SetApp or through the website. So I'm going to install this through SetApp. I click on it, and for those of you who are not familiar with SetApp, I'll have a link for it in my notes. SetApp is an app store. I call it an alternative app store, where you can download over 200 apps, and they're included in the subscription price, anywhere from $10 to $15 a month, including Pareto Security. So I just go here to search, and I type in here the name, and we can see Pareto Security. So now I need to go and install this, so I just click on Install. Now when I install this, it does install it onto the Mac, but when you open this up, it does not open up like a traditional app. What it's going to do is it's going to show in the menu bar here. It will not show in the dock. So let's go ahead and open this up. When I first open it up, this is going to be the first time that I open it up. I do have to set a couple of settings. So we're just going to run through this. It's pretty simple to do. So I just click on Open. And now you're going to see I have a couple of check boxes here. Do you want it to automatically launch on System Startup? I would recommend that. And then you can also send crash reports. I also recommend doing that. So then the developer will know when it crashed and maybe they can go and fix it. So I just click on Get Started here. Like I said, a couple of different things that we need to do. We need to give it permission to access the system events. So I just go and click on Allow here, and now it's going to be authorized to access my system events. In addition to that, you will also need to give it full disk access. Now mine is authorized here, but if it is not authorized, what you'll need to do is click on this, and then it'll open up in your system settings, go to full disk access, and just turn on the slider. So if I click on this, and then we go over to, let's move this out of the way, privacy and security, what you're going to see here is full disk access. And when I click on this, we're going to have Pareto Security. And we can see that that is turned on. So if this says it is unauthorized, this is where you need to go. You need to go to full disk access, and then you just go over to Pareto Security and make sure that that is turned on. You may have to quit and restart Pareto Security. So now I have it running. Let's just go ahead and close all of these apps here. So now I have it running. What can we do? How do we run our security checks? Well, as I mentioned, this runs in the menu bar. So when we go back over to my Mac, you're going to see that I have a new option in my menu bar, Pareto Security. Let's move up here a little bit. There it is. It is not in my dock. Now you're also going to see that it has a little orange dot there. What is that? Well, that means that it found some issues with my security settings on the Mac. Again, it is not a malware detector. It's not going to detect any virus. All it's going to do is just basically do an audit of your security on the Mac. So now, how do I run this? I just click on it, and then you're going to see Run Checks. So let's go ahead and run this. And now it is running those checks. You can see that the icon there was making some changes there. It ran it, and now I can go and see all of the different options or all of the different issues that it found. So now how do we view these security audits? It ran the audit. How do we view that? Well, basically what we need to do is just go back up to this menu bar here, and then you're going to see all of the issues right down here. If it is green, that means that everything is good. And you can see with macOS updates, what it did is it made sure that it's downloading new updates. My macOS is up to date. Updates are automatically installed. So it's basically just doing a little bit of an audit there. And then when we go to software updates, we can see that my Zoom is up to date, as well as App Store updates are up to date. So I get the green check mark there. But if we look, you're going to see that under System Integrity, I have a little orange diamond. This means that it found some issues. So how do I know what issues it found? Well, if we go over to the right, you're going to see Boot Secure is on, has a green check mark, but File Vault is off. I don't use File Vault. I'm going to show you later on in the settings how we can turn off the scan. I don't want this to check to see if File Vault is on or off. So we can actually turn that off. But if we keep going, you're going to see that terminal is not using secure entry. My Time Machine backup is not encrypted. So all of these are little audits, and it's basically just telling you that my AirPlay receiver is on, my firewall is off, access and security, my current user is admin. So it's just running an audit. And then if you want to know what any of these are, let's go back over to System Integrity. If you want to know more detail, what you can do is actually just go over here to the audit, and then when you click on this, it's going to open up a web page, and it's going to tell you more about that audit. So here we can see what it is, how long it'll take to fix it, and then how to fix it. So if you're ever curious about any one of these, let's go over to Stealth Mode. I've never heard of that. Firewall Stealth Mode. What is that? All I have to do is just select this, and then I can see what it is. What if I use other firewalls? How much time it's going to take to fix it, as well as how to enable it. So if you're ever confused on what some of these security settings are, all you have to do is just select it, and it shows you a nice guide of what they are. So that's the basics of Pareto Security. Basically, it just goes through your Mac and makes sure that everything is all set. Now, how do we customize this? I mentioned that I do not like to use File Vault. For no particular reason, I just don't turn it on. So how can I tell Pareto Security that I don't want it to scan for if I'm using File Vault? Or maybe I don't want to encrypt my Time Machine backup. How can I tell Pareto Security not to scan for that particular security setting? Well, that's what we're going to look at next, how we can customize the settings, how we can tell it what to scan for, and also what not to scan for. We're also going to look at a few other settings for it. So let's take a look at Pareto Security settings. Let's go back over to my Mac. So when we're looking at the Mac, I'm going to close this window here. What we need to do is go up to the menu bar. Again, this is how we access it. When we go up to the menu bar, what we do is we go over to Preferences. When I select Preferences, a new window is going to open up, and then from here, I'm able to go and set what options I wanted to scan for. So let's take a look at this. We have 4 different tabs. The first one here is General. This is where we can set it to automatically launch on startup. Only check apps that has been used in the last week. Only show in the menu bar when anything is failing, so it'll hide this. If nothing is going wrong, it'll hide it, and then it'll show when there is something failing, anything with that orange diamond. I can enable checks for a specific folder, and then I can also use an alternative color scheme. So this is for accessibility. So basically it has your general options. Next to that, we have our permissions. Now, this is where we set it up when we first installed Pareto Security. So you really won't have to access this, but we can see that both of mine are authorized. And then our last option, About, really just tells you about Pareto Security. So I just call checks here my last option. This is where we can go and customize it. So from here, what I'm able to do is turn on and off what I wanted to scan for. What I can do here is select which ones I don't want to use. So I do log in as the administrator. So I don't want it to check for that. I also like to keep my AirPlay receiver on. So I don't want it to check for that. This is how I transfer files from my phone. And if we keep scrolling up, I'm able to check that File Vault is on. I don't like to use File Vault for no particular reason again, but let's just go ahead and turn that off. And I don't encrypt my time machine, so I'm just go ahead and turn that off. So now when it runs a security check here, it will not check for those options. So the idea here is you can go through here and check. Firewall is off. I don't use a firewall. Well, let's go ahead and turn that off. So I just go and check here. Firewall. I don't use a firewall, so I'm just going to turn that off. And now when we go back up to the menu bar here, you're going to see that my firewall and sharing is green because it's not checking to see if I'm using the firewall. So you don't have to scan for everything that the Mac can do to help keep your Mac secure. You can turn some of those off, and then Pareto Security will no longer scan for those. And that's all done through the preferences. And again, you access that by going up to the menu bar and then going to Preferences. And that wraps up our guide on Pareto Security for the Mac. We've explored how this powerful tool can streamline your security practices by automating regular audits of your settings, your Mac settings, ensuring that you're always up to date with the best security measures, the best Mac security measures without complexity. While Pareto Security isn't a replacement for antivirus or malware detection, it is a layer of defense that can help keep your Mac secure. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay safe and happy computing. Now, if you're still here, did you like the video? Make sure you give it a thumbs up, subscribe, or even share it with your family or friends. Now, here's a little bit about me and what I have to offer. I'm Dan Wasink. I've been creating these easy-to-follow video tutorials for your Apple devices for over a decade. You can find these videos on YouTube and on my site, danstutorials.com. With YouTube, I do have over 400 videos, but on my site, I have over 2,100 videos. I've been doing this a lot longer on my site than I have with YouTube. I also host webinars and classes on a regular basis through my website, and I recently added an AI assistant that is modeled after an Apple genius. So if you have a question, you can easily ask my AI assistant. Maybe it'll be able to help you. You can help support my efforts by becoming a member of my site. Members get all of the videos ad-free, so there's no ads on any of the videos. You also get access to all of my webinars and online classes. I usually have 2 to 3 a month, and you get access to my AI assistant, again, modeled after an Apple genius. But on top of all that, you're helping support a small business. I'm just in a corner office of my house working out of a spare bedroom that I turned into a studio. Check out Dan's tutorials for more information, and thanks for watching.